Life emerges, and one day it ends. In between, time passes. Over time, minds and bodies change. Along life's journey, there is a time to play, a time to learn, and a time to breed. A time to share life's lessons. Those who reach old age are fortunate. They have overcome every danger. But inevitably, they must say goodbye. Aging, it's a passage through time, and no two paths are the same. In nature, dominance, strength, and leadership require experience. That experience comes with age. To defend a territory and secure a mate, the biggest and strongest individuals usually have an advantage. Here on the savannah, it's a critical time. Male elephants are in must, and they are in hot pursuit of females to mate with.
Everybody comes back in from the outlying, far-flung parts of the ecosystem where they've been hanging out.
Researcher Vicki Fishlock is a guest at this elephant gathering. She studies their behavior and is curious to know what dramas this year will bring.
This time of year, everyone's got lots of energy, and that's what gives them the catalyst to have all this social interaction going on. And we get a lot of estrus females available at this time of year. Older males are coming back for mating.
With all of these males in must, the savannah becomes a gigantic stage for epic battles as males fight with other males for the opportunity to mate. Everyone tries their luck. It's a fierce competition.
Dominance is about age because it's about size. So the biggest males are the oldest males, and they're the ones who are getting most of the mating opportunities. You'll see that they kind of press down on each other's faces. It's really about size assessment and relative strength. That smaller male was like, yep, you're bigger than me, I'm backing off.
Vicki returns to the field camp.
This little calf this morning that had very, very thin tusks. Some of them do, it's just different.
Cynthia Moss is a world-renowned expert who has closely followed the social lives of these elephants since the 1970s. Vicki is continuing the research that Cynthia began nearly half a century ago, documenting elephant life in Amboseli. Thanks to this closely followed family history, they have come to understand that a male named Big Tim has a big influence. He's a powerful but gentle giant.
So this is Tim. This is our poster boy. He is really a prime Amboseli male. He's probably our top breeding male. But what makes him so special is he's such a sweet personality. He's really nice with the females. He's just an excellent, excellent male, and he is passing on his genes to the next generation.
Big Tim, at almost 50 years old, is one of the oldest and most successful males around. As he approaches middle age, his huge tusks practically scrape the ground as he walks. Big Tim is a veteran leader, but before his rise to dominance, he was small and inexperienced. He had much to learn as he rose through the ranks. From birth until the age of 4, a baby elephant requires a lot of care and attention from its mother.
Male calves are much more demanding than female calves. They suckle more frequently, they're more difficult to wean.
Little by little, a baby elephant becomes more independent.
They play differently from females. They have games where they spar, you know, head-to-head sparring, testing each other's strength.
Elephants reach adolescence between the ages of 5 and 14. At this age, they get braver, exploring their environment and making new friends. Most males leave their maternal group by the end of adolescence, though Moss has seen some exceptions.
There are a few bulls who are mama's boys, and we have one that stayed until he was 18 and another until he was 19 years old. He'd be right next to her all the time. He'd be following her, just like a one-year-old. He did not go until she died.
Far from their mothers, siblings, aunts, and cousins, these teenage elephants make a new start. Their new lives in bachelor herds bring adventures, opportunities, and risks.
Bulls will leave when they're 14, and it's a very dangerous time for males because this is when they have accidents. They go into human habitation and get speared. So we lose quite a few bulls in that age group, you know.
Learning doesn't stop once young males have survived the dangerous tests and risks of adolescence. They continue to learn tips from their elders on how to attract females.
Males become the same height as the tallest females when they're 18, so you can see he's just a little bit taller than the female who just walked in front of him. So males of this age sometimes come and hang out with families, and they're learning about being with females. But by this age, the females aren't terribly keen on hanging out with them because they don't want to mate with these guys. They're far too young. Because males of this age are really competent. They're perfectly able to father calves, and they're big enough to mount a female and mate. But they're not proven. So females are choosy. They don't want to mate with these males. They want to mate with the big guys who have proven their quality by surviving 40 years and more. So I'm sorry, buddy, you've got a little bit of way to go. Another 20 years or so.
In males, true sexual maturity, from a social point of view, is reached around the age of 30. As a mature male's body undergoes a surge in testosterone, he will come into must. This happens just once a year.
What must basically is what scientists call honest advertising. And that means that he has a completely different change of posture. He carries his head really high and then dribbling the strong-smelling combination of urine and other, components, which leaves a scent trail. And then they have a special ear wave like this, that both ears separately. We think it wafts the smell of the temporal gland. And usually there's a rumble that goes with that ear wave, and it's very characteristic. It's very low frequency, so it carries very far. And he's also advertising to the other bulls, I'm in very good condition, and I've lived long enough to get here, and I'm surging with testosterone, and I'll kill you if you try to interfere with me.
And a lot of male behavior is about assessing rivals. So this is typical male behavior, this cruising, testing. Now he also has to worry about this male who's in the middle here, and they're similar size, so this is why somebody's backing off.
The battle is fierce. The blows are powerful. Males can be seriously or fatally injured from these fights.
I've seen males bleed from their ears after fights because they're running at each other with such force. These are really, really major contests.
This male is inexperienced. But he tries his luck at chasing a female. Over the years, his efforts to impress the females will improve.
Usually she can outrun them. She's lighter and faster because the female has choice and doesn't have to mate with a bull she doesn't want to mate with.
So this is Tim. This is a male who's at the top of his physical condition. He doesn't need to fight with everybody, but he's the boss.
The dominant older males tend to be the most popular with the females. These calm giants are more experienced and know how to put females at ease. Older males are looked up to by the calves. There's no doubt about Big Tim's popularity.
You will see kind of 2- and 3-year-olds following these big males with their trunks up going, "Ooh, what's that?" You know.
Literally an honor guard. You know, they would all stand there and they put their heads really low and they reach their trunks out and just give him this honor guard.
He just makes me smile. I mean, if you told me when I worked in Congo that I would let musk males get this close to my car, I would have told you that you were insane.
This female follows him, and he leads the way. More than one female is vying for his attention. The other males watch Big Tim in awe. Many fear him, but others are opportunists.
Younger males might sneak in and be able to mate. But then usually what will happen is a dominant male will mate afterwards, and that's usually the last male who mates who fathers the calf.
Big Tim has fathered many babies. Although he may have more years behind him than in front of him, he is still in charge. And until his death, he will continue to pass on his genes.
When people take the time to watch elephants, there's something about them that just brings people in. And I think partly it's because you don't have to be an expert to understand when elephants are having a good time. It's all affection, and it's very, very easy to see that. And I think that's one of the things that make elephants so special.
It takes charisma and strength to be dominant. Antlers, horns, and tusks are useful for asserting your dominance. This is the Alpine marmot. Here, high in the French Alps, the climate is harsh. But some animals have carved out a life here. In this rodent, there is no negotiation over the hierarchy. Here, Mom and Dad rule. Their subordinates are their youngsters of varying ages. Young adults, juveniles, and babies. The dominant couple mate for life. The duo command respect and keep young rebels in line. In the midst of these meadows riddled with marmot burrows is the research center of the Grand Sassier Reserve. Here, a long-lived marmot might reach the age of 16. Scientists are investigating how social relationships affect their longevity. The head couple monopolizes all of the mating opportunities. No other adults are allowed to mate. In spring, researchers begin their annual observations. For the last 25 years, they have captured these marmots and monitored their pregnancies. Marmots are caught regularly to learn how aging affects their reproductive success. Scans allow researchers to see if females are pregnant and get an idea of when and how many pups will be born. 3 or 4 is a typical litter, though mothers can produce as few as 1 and as many as 7 babies.
Y a pas d'affaire.
Ah, les pattes, on vient dans les pattes.
The researchers can make out 3 marmot embryos inside their mother. This is good news for the dominant pair, who will soon have 3 more helpers in their territory. The more help parents receive from their offspring, the slower they age. In a few more weeks, this female will give birth. Spring makes way for summer. It's a season of plenty. On the marmot menu, greens and flowers.
Donc là, tu vois, ils commencent à être bien actifs. Ils ont dû sortir vers 7 heures. Ils sont restés un moment sur le terrier, attendre que ça se réchauffe un petit peu, et puis progressivement, ils vont manger.
Dominic Galinet is a specialist in behavioral and evolutionary ecology. As a professor and researcher, one of his important roles is passing along his knowledge to new students.
La présence de marmottes aide, influence la vie des dominants parce que, justement, en les aidant, ça permet aux dominants de réduire leur investissement énergétique, leur investissement parental. Tu as des subordonnés qui rentrent du foin. Ils vont rentrer du foin dans le terrier principal comme ça, soit dans le terrier où il y a les petits. On a montré que quand il y avait des présences d'aide, alors l'âge de début de vieillissement est retardé dans le temps et est moins important en intensité.
If a predator approaches, a security guard sounds the alarm. The family unit provides safety in numbers. For now, the danger is averted.
Souvent, les dominants surveillent. En général, ce sont aussi les dominants qui marquent. Le dominant, il va faire le tour de son territoire. Souvent, il gratte et puis il va frotter sa joue. Il va déposer une substance odorante qui va dire attention aux étrangers, attention là vous êtes chez moi. Il y en a qui se battent là.
C'est que ça.
Alors il y a souvent comme ça des bagarres à la limite de deux territoires. Ben, deux individus de deux territoires différents se rencontrent à la frontière. Et donc là, ils se battent souvent. Les compétiteurs, ça peut être des individus mâles en vadrouille, qui essayent de trouver une position de dominant quelque part, mais ça peut aussi éventuellement être un challenge avec ses propres subordonnés, ses propres aides, parce qu'évidemment, les aides en vieillissant vont devenir sexuellement matures et ils vont avoir besoin de se reproduire. J'ai même vu des combats mortels. Celle qui a perdu, là, s'en va.
The marmot that retreats after a chase runs the risk of dying alone. The baby marmots have been born. Their freshly opened eyes are taking in the world around them. Dominic's study has revealed that mother marmots can actually adjust the sex ratio of their young. Whether parents can have the ability to regulate the sex of their offspring has long intrigued evolutionary biologists.
Elles ont besoin d'avoir des mâles avec elles. Et lorsqu'elles n'en ont pas, probablement qu'il y a une situation de stress qui fait qu'elles ont tendance à produire plus de mâles. Et l'hypothèse la plus probable, c'est que justement les mâles aident les parents à élever les jeunes, ce que ne font visiblement pas ou beaucoup moins les femelles.
The help that young marmots provide to their parents is especially evident during hibernation. These young marmots are unaware of what lies ahead, but soon they will have to endure 6 months of fasting under the snow. Deep in the burrow, all the marmots snuggle together for warmth. For babies, their older siblings and parents are like miniature radiators, heaters that make the difference between life and death.
Il y en a à peu près 40% qui survivent en moyenne. Et là, la présence d'aide est assez importante puisque quand il n'y en a pas, il y a relativement peu de survie des marmotons, ça peut descendre jusqu'à 20-25%. Quand il y a beaucoup d'aide, ça peut monter presque à 100%.
For the moment, the sun is shining, but high in the mountains, the summer warmth doesn't last very long. While the baby marmots are playing, the rest of the family is more focused. To prepare for winter, you need to eat a lot. Marmots munch as many plants as they can to accumulate fat stores to get them through the winter. Marmots have been living here, growing up in this hierarchy for millennia. One day, this dominant couple will reach an age where they will be pushed out as youngsters rise to take their place. From a distance, these mountains evoke a vast wilderness and the resilience of nature. Up close, we enter the land of the Bighorn sheep. Master of the mountain, it's one of the most agile large mammals in North America. This open vista allows detection of approaching wolves, cougars, or coyotes. Life in a group has its ups and downs.
Some interesting population dynamics. What makes it so that some years the population goes up, some years it comes down? Is it predation, weather, population density, disease? So some of the ewes will have a lamb that survives every year. Some of them, the lamb doesn't survive or they don't produce a lamb. Why is that?
Marco Festa Bianche is trying to figure out what drives these population fluctuations. He studies, amongst other things, the influence of an individual's rank in the social hierarchy. Males and females of this species are easily distinguished. Over time, male horns form a spiral. Those of females look like small spikes throughout their lives. In this harsh environment, longevity is a challenge. Few rams reach the age of 11. Marco once recorded a 14-year-old male, but this elderly ram was an exception. For a male, growing old has its disadvantages. The older he gets, the greater his chances of dying from disease or capture by a predator. Yet at the same time, a male's horns grow larger with age, and bigger horns are more attractive to the females.
To become a large ram with big horns, he needs to be a very good individual. And some of it is finding good food, but some of it also is having the good genetic composition that allows him to survive longer, to grow large horns, and to become a dominant ram.
Rutting season has begun. The female will be in heat for about 36 hours. That's a short window of opportunity for a male. Males constantly sniff the urine of females for critical information about her fertility. From her scent, he can tell that she will soon be ovulating. In hopes of becoming a father, he follows the scent trail. This sheep has an advantage over the other males in the neighborhood. He is the male with the biggest horns. He knows the routine. He's had experience in other mating seasons. When the female is ready to copulate, he shoos away all of his potential competitors, including the young rams. Before charging an opponent, he gives very clear warning signals.
There is a number of behaviors that they will use. They kind of bend their neck and approach the other ram on what we call a low stretch, with their sort of nose forward. They'll approach the subordinate ram and kick it. They'll kick with the front leg.
There are numerous competitors to deal with before copulation can safely begin. For this subordinate, a kick with his hoof was not enough. Perhaps the horns will be more convincing.
The male has to beat up other rams. Occasionally, they will clash their horns. And usually the subordinate ram can tell right away the other one is stronger. It's really a matter of force, because it's the mass of the horn, the mass of the body behind it, and that's what carries the impact. And there's no point in him trying when he knows he's going to lose and risk getting injured, and so he just walks away.
But subordinate males don't always yield so easily. Allegiances make it possible to continually challenge the dominant male and the female he's trying to mate with. The commotion sometimes creates an opportunity for a younger male to sneak in and attempt copulation with the female. The female observes the situation. The hierarchy of rams is linear and well established. Male number 1 will always win in battles against male number 2. Likewise, male number 2 always beats male number 3, and so on. Once a male has successfully mated with a female, he leaves her and seeks another female in heat. The other males likewise disperse. Ram number 2 will have to wait his turn. With age, bad luck for male number 1 will provide an opportunity for male number 2 to rise in rank. But for now, the alpha male is king of the mountain, the sought-after sire. For many animals, size is critical. Female elk have a clear preference. They prefer males that are big, strong, and healthy. A male must demonstrate his prowess. His antlers are his business card. Every year, his advertising begins anew. At the beginning of winter, he unloads this heavy burden. In winter, outside the breeding season, he has no need for his antlers. Now the focus is on survival. Spring, the season of renewal, has returned. Males seek out mineral salts essential to the regrowth of their antlers. A fine, soft velvet covers the growing antlers. The velvet is fed by tiny blood vessels that nourish the developing bone. Now, fall is just around the corner. The antlers are ready for showing off. The male's frame has had to adjust to the extra weight. At the edge of the forest, females are noticeably agitated. The scent of their urine is rich in hormones. Males are on a mission to pass on their genes. For the dominant males, the best way to do that is by building a harem. The stage is set for violent clashes. Male elk are fueled by testosterone. Scent marking with urine, rubbing of antlers, and loud bugling are all signs that the rut has begun. Some individuals, like this male, have no hesitation in defending their rank. No intruders of any kind are tolerated on this male's territory. His message is clear. This is my territory. I'm the boss, so beware. A male's bugle is a message to the other males in the area. This is my harem. Keep out. I will defend my females at all costs. A duel is imminent. This clearing becomes an arena for the fight. The rules are clear. I push you, you push me. A tangled clash ensues. These are highly evolved combat weapons. Shaped through natural selection, their form allows most males to be spared punctured eyes and deep wounds. To retreat under the thrust of the opponent is to concede him the victory. Fights can be violent and spectacular. During the rut, all of the male's energy is spent defending his harem. For the dominant males that have survived, the end of the rutting season may bring total exhaustion. Wolves are on high alert. Many individuals will not survive the coming winter. The spoils of reproduction may cost males their lives. But for the males that are successful, their efforts live on in the next generation. The Kenyan savanna is home to many mammals, including the yellow baboon. This primate has been the focus of research going on for over 40 years.
don't know if it's worth going into the grove. What do you think, Jean? Should we drive in here and see if we can see anything?
Yeah, I guess we could try, because that grove, they do sometimes just move from one part of it to another.
Jean Altman, who began this research, is retiring. 8 generations of baboons later, Elizabeth Archie is quietly taking her place. Hierarchy is at the heart of the baboon's daily life. The two scientists want to know why some individuals dominate over others.
Baboons, they're really good at making a living in what seems like a very challenging area. And part of it is there's not water, there's not permanent water. And most of the water in this region comes from the rainwater on Kilimanjaro.
In the early 1960s, when Altman accompanied her husband to Africa, the young mathematician never suspected she would make this environment her own. But upon seeing the baboons, it was love at first sight. She has passed on her infectious curiosity to many scientists and the world beyond.
Like standing in this spot, I often think of this as it's like the panorama of baboon land, where the baboons live. Almost everywhere we can see here are places where the baboons we study live. And those groves of trees are really important to them because that's where they sleep at night. So for safety, they climb up into those trees, they sleep in the trees.
But the food is on the ground, so they must leave the safety of the trees to find it. Baboons travel in groups. But when it comes to searching for food, it's every baboon for itself. For Jean and Elizabeth, all the baboons of this community are like old friends. They know their life stories and their unique personalities. They're on the lookout for one female in particular.
I think that's Nike.
This female here standing and feeding is 17 years old. She's still very reproductively active and bearing infants and taking care of herself.
Right, so Nike has 2 sons. She's been unlucky, in some ways, to have 2 sons because for baboons, their closest social bonds are usually their female relatives, so their sisters and their daughters. But she hasn't had any daughters. That means she doesn't really have a big family to surround her. She's a little bit isolated.
Whether dominant or subordinate, a daughter inherits her social rank from her mother. But a mother always remains superior in rank to her daughter. There are occasional exceptions, such as the bond between Cobra and her daughter Connick. Connick fought with her mother and eventually superseded her rank in the hierarchy.
Her daughters and other members of her family actually harassed her.
For an aging female, her family is important. They are the marks of her social status.
Baboons don't feed each other. They also don't tend to the elderly in any specific ways. But having a supportive, positive social environment is helpful.
Group life involves rules. Each member of the group occupies a well-defined position, and everyone knows their place.
Baboons have a very strong dominance hierarchy. It's pretty separate dominance hierarchy, males and females, and all the subadult and adult males are dominant to the adult females.
Males dominate females, but females have their own hierarchy. High social status comes with benefits, like access to food. It also has a big influence on the lives of the young baboons. This one is lucky. His mother is a dominant female. To attack him would be an assault on a female respected by the whole community. For this young one, it's the opposite. His mother has a low social rank. He's likely to have a childhood of harassment. He may even be kidnapped. His mother's momentary lapse in surveillance is seized upon. A nearby female grabs the little one, and he has no choice but to cling on to his captor.
This week that happened, a female named Opal. The infant had been kidnapped by a juvenile female, and as the day went on, the infant became weaker and weaker after being carried around in this environment where they need lots of fluid.
By noon, it became obvious that the little one would not survive. The next day, scientists discovered its lifeless body.
It usually happens to first-time mothers because low-ranking mothers, again, learn after the first time that they have to be more protective. They don't necessarily start out that way.
To rise in the hierarchy, subordinate females try to form allegiances with dominant females. They must forge friendships and demonstrate their value to others. The more friends and parents they have around them, the more help is available in a time of need.
In baboons, it takes a family and a group, and that's true in humans.
In a group, you don't just make friends. You navigate the hardships of life, and baboons need to help each other to succeed and survive. Recently, a major challenge has faced this group: a drought. Significant environmental changes disrupted the entire ecosystem. In the last few years, the baboons have been forced to adapt to a lack of water and then a lack of food. Over time, the meager plant seeds and elephant dung became some of their only options. Times were tough. Eventually, they had to leave the area.
They gradually moved westward, and they moved outside the national park. They moved into the larger Amboseli Basin. Individuals don't want to leave that homeland. They don't want to migrate to other areas. So that's a big, scary thing to do, and they did that.
Gene Altman's research has demonstrated that the group has a positive effect on the resilience of individuals.
We found that high-ranking animals are better able to withstand that early trauma, the offspring of high-ranking mothers, so that social buffering occurs as well.
Their decision to leave was a good one. In their new surroundings, with more rainfall, they can make a better life.
If baboons were going to teach you a lesson about aging, it would be keep your family, keep your friendships, maintain those social bonds, and that's how you're most likely to have sort of a healthy, long, successful aging.
As Jean reaches the finish line of her career, she will leave the baboons and return to her family.
It's likely to be my last day in the field, and that's always a bittersweet time. I think a lot about what good times I've had, but it's hard to leave.
The baboons have enriched her life, and her research has left a valuable legacy for the scientific community.
I feel, though, so lucky to have been here this time and every time.